Kids have an amazing ability to make things appear
Yeah,
and disappear. I I just spend I think on average 10, 15, maybe 20% of my time at home is spent picking things off the floor.
yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I just like I walk from one end of the flat to the other, and I like pick up this and pick up
yeah,
this and
yeah,
pick up
yeah,
this, and if there's a jacket and there's a T-shirt, and there's a pair of
yeah,
shoes, and there's pieces of Lego and jigsaw puzzles, and
yeah.
there's it's all everywhere, and um, I, I try my failures. Let me tell you about my failures. I tried to make a deal with my son to keep his room tidy and
Yeah.
organized. Yeah. And so and so I tried a couple of different offers,
Mm.
and there he was not interested. So eventually I said, whatever you want. I said, I will give you whatever you want if you keep your room tidy.
Yeah.
And he said, no. And I said, I really don't want to force you to tidy your room. I don't want to punish you for not tidying your room because I don't think that those are positive agreements to make. Not really agreements. It's just
Yeah.
I don't think it's a positive way to go. Um, so I'll give you whatever you want. He's like, no, absolutely not. There is nothing in the world that I could give him to keep his room tidy.
Yeah. You could give him a chance that he can play with his virtual.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing
let's say,
is that, but here's the really complicated point. Sometimes you're you're right about doing that. And everybody's different as a parent, so different
yeah,
things
yeah,
work for different people. But that would be like a threat, right? That would be like, I'm going to take away something that you love
mm,
if you don't do what I want you to do. And the question is, what kind of message am I giving him if I do that? And the message is that the threat is a good thing to use. That's the message. That force equals failure.
mm,
It's and it's not him that failed.
yeah,
It's not him that failed. It's me that failed
mm,
because my job as dad is to support and encourage and help. It's not my job to put the world
mm,
is already very cruel and difficult and brutal and dangerous out there. We don't need home to be the same. So uh, I don't want to take away from him something that he likes, because then from that he learns to take away things from other people. And
mm,
I don't want him to learn that as a productive method. Understand that people do it in the world because the world is a cruel and brutal place sometimes. Understand that these things happen, but we don't need to do those things at home. So I don't know. I don't think that's the right. I don't think that's ever the right way to do something. It's far better to sit and negotiate about pros and cons, and to give him what he wants, and then later to say, look, I helped you with this. Come on, raise your game, right?
Yep.
Pay me back, or we call it reciprocation. Reciprocation is when somebody returns to you things that you give to them, or they help you because you help them. It doesn't have to be an obligation, but in a positive way. And for example, if I'm bad to him, then he'll be bad to his sisters, right? And it'll filter down, and that won't be cool. So you have to be even more careful as a parent about the use of force in doing something. Because when you use force as a parent, you lose instantly. Here's the example. Imagine, and then we'll move on. I'll just give one little example. Imagine he has an acting class that he goes to. He does like drama and theater, and he likes it. If I say to him, clean your room or you don't get to go to the class, who loses? I lose. Because he doesn't get the fun and enjoyment and the education and the benefits and the activity, and he's unhappy. And if he's unhappy, I have to deal with that. So parents' number one biggest problem is that they make their children unhappy, and then they have to deal with it. And then they blame the children. They point the finger at the children and say, blah, blah. And the crazy thing is that the children they got no money, they got no authority, they got no power. They can't possibly be responsible for the problem. And so when parents say, oh, like my parents said to me, my parents said, you were a terrible child. And my response was like, I was a kid. I didn't know. But you as adults, my parents, your job was to know and to explain. Children can't possibly fail because they don't know enough about the world. Only the adults and the parents can fail. Which is funny when all these children grow up to be criminals and end up in prison. It's like the kids go to prison, but the parents are still out in the world, right? Right, and I'm not saying that parents are 100% responsible for everything, but you have to communicate the right message to your kids. And so I would rather give my son something and say, well, look, free choice, right? There's advantages and disadvantages, though, right? To everything. Clean room is a healthy environment, right? Yeah. A dirty room is like, I always default to the boy-girl thing. It's like if you want to find like a girlfriend in the future, right? And she comes round, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to organize everything and have everything, whatever. Pretend that I'm an organized person. Better to be an organized person than to pretend to be an organized person. Right. Anyway. Back to that was because of your daughter. There we go. Yeah. Children are a fantastic distraction. In all the positive ways. Right.